Hi there, and welcome to a short tutorial which will help you understand how Nido helps students make a standardized testing plan to prepare for and take the tests that will help them reach their university admissions goals. This slide is to help you understand that university admissions testing is alive and well around the world across various university systems. If you are remotely interested in applying to a school in the USA or Asia, schools still largely require these scores as a part of the application process. If you have the UK or any other EU countries, Australia or Canada, the answer, often as it is in the admissions process, is it depends. You'll work with counselors to determine that in conjunction with your high school curriculum, whether that be IB or not, about whether standardized testing is right for you. There are two tests to choose from if they are going to be required in your process. That's the ACT and then the relatively new SAT. These are tests that are vying for market share. These are for-profit companies who work with universities to provide a data point which is supposed to help determine success in college. They are continually trying to both appear the same and differentiate themselves, but the good news is that students should choose one that is the best for them to dedicate their very limited time and energy to performing the best. This slide shows briefly, and I know it's small, but you can dig around Google for a universe of infographics and a lot of analysis if you'd like to learn more on your own. But the similarities include, thankfully now, students are not penalized for guessing. Most exams purport to focus on high school curriculum. The test companies allow students to determine which test date they would like to submit scores for, and now the essay portion is optional for both exams. There are many differences as well. Of course, a totally different scoring system, so it's hard to understand what the scores mean relative to one another. In the math section, there's a big difference in whether you're allowed to use calculators or not, as well as some topic areas. Passage-based reading has some differences, as well as whether or not there is material testing science. So it is important for students to be exposed to these differences and to determine which exam is right for them. This is the most important question to answer, and we're going to help students over the course of a year and a half answer this question. And the key take-home message is diagnostic testing. Practice testing is key. We don't ever recommend students sit officially for a national exam just to, quote, see what's going to happen. And because testing is quite specific to a student's university's plans, all practice testing at Nido is by choice. We are going to ask students and families to opt in to a variety of opportunities in so much as it will help their particular university strategy. As a quick review, anybody interested in US or Asia should absolutely opt into all testing steps, and those considering Australia or Canada, UK or EU countries relative to your academic curriculum should probably speak to a counselor to see if in fact testing is right for you. Over the course of grades 10 and 11, we are going to help students and families understand which test is best for them if it's a part of their plan. Same for the 2 years. In October and November, we're going to be offering official practice examinations made by the test-making companies themselves. These are mini versions of the official exams they will take later on. And then either at the very beginning of summer or at the end of summer, we will have score reports returned to students with some analysis. At grade 11 is when an additional layer of diagnostic test information is provided. And this is for students for whom the standardized test will play an important role in university admissions, primarily those who are US or Asia bound. And the right size of this program is about 60 students will be selected based on their plans to engage with a really impressive, powerful, positive company called Arbor Bridge. And through Arbor Bridge, these 60 students in October and November of their junior year will engage in full-length diagnostic testing for both the SAT and ACT, engage in very intense score analysis, receive customized lesson planning for how they can improve in particular areas on both of these exams, and have a 2-hour one-on-one tutoring session with an expert to review your diagnostic testing results. After that is complete for those students, all juniors will be ready to, before summer begins, to interpret scores and establish a testing plan. That is so if students so choose, they can use their summer in between semester 1 and semester 2 of their junior year to begin test preparation for this test of their choice. Test preparation should not overwhelm students' time or energy. They should not drain a family's wallet, but it absolutely needs to become a part of their daily academic lives. It is not an option to not prepare for these exams, because the important part is to do the very best that you can. Once we have scores from diagnostic testing, there is a way to compare results, and it's not just whether the highest score wins. Some students will score strongly for one or the other. It's our experience that actually they score quite similarly. It might allow you to reach a benchmark score, for example, for a world university, and there's no need to do better. But for qualitative review countries where higher scores help, and after we look at the data, many students fall in what's called a judgment call. The higher score doesn't necessarily win, and there are many other considerations that will move through a counseling process to help students determine which test is the right for them. If the scores don't indicate a clear winner, if you are not applying to a country with a clear benchmark score, other considerations that will be taken into account are a student's reading speed and level of endurance, a student's pacing and time management. Are they interested in testing in what is considered a science section? How well can they do math without a calculator? And the essay portion on these exams are different in that one asks you to analyze and the other asks you to evaluate. Students might exhibit a preference for any one of these considerations. In addition to pure content, it is super important to help the student orient towards the test that makes them feel the most confident. Mental approach, mental training results in higher scores for students in these exams. So after diagnostic testing, potentially engaging with Arbor Bridge if that is appropriate to your university plans, and data and other qualitative considerations are made. The goal is to have students by the summer of their junior year determine the way ahead. Our message is always this from the counseling office: more is not more. There are 2 tests and students should choose one to help them achieve their university goals. Students should not plan to take these tests exhaustively 5-10 times. There is also a law of diminishing returns on how many times students should test. We will help right size expectations, test preparation, etc. So we are excited to help students prepare for these important examinations that will help open doors for their university futures. Looking forward to working with students more on diagnostic testing for university entrance exams. Thanks so much for listening.